And let me go to comments. Hello, Tiana. How are you? Tiana's in here first thing. Hello, everyone. This is Terry Lamb with Evolving Always. And I have the beautiful Jennifer from Bellanblue. Evolving Always is about helping people to evolve mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And we have an awesome guest who's definitely done that herself. And she could probably even give you some tips on how to make that happen for you. Hey, Robin, how are you doing? And we're going to also put this on a podcast eventually as well. But I am glad for people that have joined. And again, Tiana, thank you so much for joining. Hello, Robin. How are you? How are you doing today? And Tiana, feel free to put your YouTube down below. You know how to put your link below, Tiana. That'd be great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to go ahead and share this video too. I like to go ahead and share it some more to some people because sometimes people still get confused about the time. And we'll go ahead and share this to a group really quick. And it is shared, and there we go. All right, so I definitely want to talk about Jennifer. I actually was aware of Jennifer basically when I started Poshmark back, I would say probably 2015, but I really didn't start, I guess, really selling until probably about 2016. And then that's when I noticed Jennifer. She had like the most beautiful boutique on Poshmark. Period.
Thank you.
And I'm not exaggerating. And it's still like that today. But even back then, she had the most beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, her boutique is so beautiful. She's got such beautiful stuff. Everything's so wonderful. And it just kept progressing and it's just happening. And then, I would meet Jennifer at Posh Fest. She's just a sweet, beautiful person. Just so kind, genuine. She's just a sweetheart. And of course she is. I mean, she's a hard worker. She's probably the hardest working person on Poshmark. And I know I'm not exaggerating when I say this, because one of the things, obviously, that's real important for Poshmark is that you share. And Jennifer, and you will not find anybody on the platform that has shared other people's stuff more than Jennifer. She has shared about close to 6 million other closets. That's unheard of. Most people don't even get to the million. She is at close to 6 million because she really believes in Poshmark. She really believes in community. She is all about that. So she is on that platform. She's not just sharing her items, but she is sharing others, which is what that's what Poshmark's about. It's about community. As we always say, we joke about, but this is really the case. Poshmark definitely is if eBay and Instagram decide to, hook up. That's definitely Poshmark. There is no better description to describe Poshmark. That is how Poshmark is. And Jennifer has totally taken on this mentality. She is super successful. She's one of the most successful people that's on Poshmark. And not only does she have a beautiful boutique, but she also decided to take on the wholesale market portal. So she has a beautiful wholesale market portal. A lot of people may not be aware of it. It's Aluna Levi. And I'll spell that because, like I said, some people may not be aware that Jennifer was a part of this. But that is the name of the wholesale. I just put that in. So that's her wholesale company that is on Poshmark. So there is definitely a reason why Jennifer and her adorable Hunter were actually on the photo on Wall Street when Poshmark decided to go public, because she definitely embodies what Poshmark is about. That is Jennifer. So again, I want to thank her for coming up. But the other thing I want to say on a personal level is that 2020 was a very complicated year. A lot of people know that. It was a complicated year, but it also at the same time, you found what you were made of during 2020, I would almost say. And so during that time, I felt like I got closer to Jennifer because Jennifer really opened up more on social media, as I think a lot of us did, to be honest with you. It was just one of those things. I mean, what else can you do? You couldn't get out of the house. So it's like, do something on social media or, whatever, And so Jennifer really did open up more, and me and her would connect, via DM. She's such a sweet, loving individual. And that's what I found out the more I would contact her on Instagram. And then I started watching her TikTok, which I have to stay off of TikTok because TikTok for me is a time suck, because I'll literally get up there and laugh and be up there all day long like crazy. But let me tell you right now, she's one of the funniest people. She kills me. And she just started making all of these videos and just really just brightening my day. Because I tell you, 2020 was very hard. It really was a hard year. And like I said, it was a year that it was just in a way, I look at 2020 as bad as it was also good, because I think it ended up helping a lot of people, evolve into better people, right? Mm-hmm. Evolving always. I'm going to say hi really quick. So Lisa, hello Lisa, please put your YouTube link in. Lisa has a YouTube. She's so funny, by the way. You got to check it out sometime. And Rhonda, Pink Diva Studio, hello girl, glad you're up here as well. And put your YouTube up here as well. She does Brunch with Diva, which she actually puts on her YouTube. Hey Christy, how are you? And hello, Tasha. How are you? So I just want to make sure I say hello to everybody. We really appreciate you coming here to listen to Jennifer and find out more about her, because she is just such a beautiful person inside and out. And she's definitely a boss and a mom boss. So her little ones may come in, and I want y'all to be like, oh, why she have little ones? It's life. She's a mom boss. It'll be okay. So anyway, I'm going to kind of get started kind of on a personal level. Jennifer, okay. Can you tell me your first memory the first memory that really stuck in your head as a child that really stands out? Can you tell us about that?
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to say the time my parents, we grew up really poor. So we didn't have much growing up. So we wouldn't have, my fondest memory is of my parents taking me to Gulfland. And, it was just, we didn't have much family time. I grew up in a very almost dysfunctional family. So we weren't very close. I'm going to have to say typical Asian family, didn't say I love you or hug you or anything like that. And we didn't get to do much because we grew up poor. When we came to America, we came with nothing. And, just the idea of them, taking us to Gulfland. I still remember this, with all four of us. So there's four of us. There's 2 girls and 2 boys. That's probably one of the funnest memories I've had, of my childhood.
Okay.
With me, yes.
And do you remember how old you were when you did that?
I think I'm going to have to say 9 years old.
Okay, so about 9 years old. There was a picture you had placed on Instagram like a while back. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I'm not going to put it up on this screen, but I did want to ask you about it. It looked like this picture right here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? Because I thought that was interesting when I read that caption. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm trying to think about, in that, maybe I was 2 or 3, but that photo was taken when we were in Thailand. It was at a refugee camp. We were trying to come over to America. So that was like the middle point before we could come here. We were super lucky to be sponsored by a Laotian family. They did not know us at all. They just, out of the kindness of their heart, decided to sponsor us so that we could come to the United States. But in between that time, we were in this refugee camp. My mom, now we've grown closer. I never knew the story. She said, she's telling me the story. We were there for maybe a year or 2 before we could come to the United States. And that face is, my typical childhood face. I was very, a hard childhood, I would say, hard childhood. And there's a lot of things that, a lot of healing I had to do. Even now, it's a whole process. So that face that you see is like, that's me. I smile a lot. That's just part of my personality. But it's like, sorry, I'm just going off thing. It's mental health awareness. And, 2020 was really hard for me, Terry, that.
I do.
So a whole bunch of emotions and a lot of struggles, emotionally, just processing everything that was happening. And now, my parents and I are much closer, and, I've grown to have an understanding of, how I was brought up, and did a lot of forgiving. I'm sorry, I'm going off whatever because it's bringing up so much emotion.
No, I want you to talk about it because that picture, I'm going to tell you what I thought about when I saw that picture, but continue to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, so then we came to America. We came here. My mom had a successful hair salon in Thailand, and she decided, that we would have a better life here. So she's the strong one in between my mom and dad. So she's a strong personality. She's the one the glue that kept the family together. So she decided that we would have more opportunities coming here. I'm glad she did. It was either here or Australia. So that's what they were choosing, here or Australia. I'm glad they came here. Nothing wrong with Australia, but I just love the United States much better. So we landed here and we started from scratch. They started, they didn't know the language. We came just basically with the clothes on our back, for this dream, the American dream.
Yeah, because when I looked at that picture, I actually got tears in my eyes because you look so sad. I really did that, because I think we were all, because me and you were corresponding. There was just a lot going on back then anyway. And I saw that picture, and that picture just broke my heart. I said, look, because, I said, I wish I could just pick up that little one and just put a smile on that little one's face. I said, wow. So you definitely came from humble beginnings. So obviously we know that you had a huge work ethic. I'm going to say hi to a couple people that came in. Okay. Hey, Derek, how are you? If y'all aren't following Fundamentals of Side Hustling, you really should. He's so phenomenal, has a wealth of information. Derek, please drop your YouTube down below. Hello, Hillary Roy. How are you? But anyway, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, 2020, I was so daggone emotional anyway. So Michael, I see something, I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, I wish I could pick that little one up. But anyway, so you definitely understand how it is to come to this country, and y'all came here with a dream, obviously. So let's talk a little bit more about when you became a teenager. What was your first job? What did you first decide to do when you became a teenager?
My first job, which only lasted 2 days because I was so horrible at it, I got fired. I still remember this. It was at a restaurant. I cannot, I kind of have ADHD, so I couldn't really take orders. And I couldn't remember who went first. It was a hot mess. So it was a restaurant as a hostess. And after 2 days, it didn't work out. So that's my first job. And then I went into working at a bank. So, many different jobs later. I got to tell you, I never thought in all my dreams that I would be doing this now. Because I have no fashion background or sales background. I just, I'm so glad I found Posh, because if not, I don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing. I seriously don't know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So, she has a kick. I'm not gonna say it. She has a kick butt work ethic, guys. Definitely. Like I told y'all before, some of the people that weren't in here when I mentioned it earlier, there will be no one on Poshmark that you find that has more community shares than Jennifer. I'm telling you right now, there is no one. She has close to 6 million community shares. She is kick butt. I mean, we know she shares her own stuff. We all share our own stuff, but I'm just saying she's actually sharing the community's stuff too. She just embodies Poshmark. So I just have to bring that up again. So when you were in a bank, how was that? Because I'm trying to picture you in a bank right now, Jennifer. I'm just laughing thinking about it. So talk to me about the bank.
Yeah. So I have, okay. So beyond me being ADHD, I also have a little bit of OCD. So it was hard for me to count money. Like, you have to count money, right? I would count like 10 times. I would take forever to count. It was bad. And then my last job prior to this, I was working at FITM, which is the a fashion school in downtown LA. So in education, I was in the student advisement office. And I got to tell you, that fateful night that I looked through Facebook one day and saw that ad for Poshmark was just I feel like it was just meant to be. And that's 9 years ago. So that's March 2013. That's when I signed up. I didn't become active, like as far as selling. I'm gonna say for 6 months. I was just there buying, like we all, I'm sure
Yeah, I
we're
did
buying.
too.
The
Yes.
plan was to sell my pre-loved handbags that I no longer, had any use for.
Right.
But instead, my pile kept growing and growing. My boyfriend Sam was like, yo, this is not what we signed up for. What's happening here? So, from that moment on, it changed my life in so many ways.
Yeah, because like Hillary said, you do have beautiful items, by the way, which means you have great taste. But yeah, I can relate because my husband had actually mentioned Poshmark to me. He's like, yeah, you can sell some of your stuff, because he was really trying to get some of my stuff out because I do have a lot of stuff. And then here I go. I'm like, he's like, I would like hide my orders. They were coming in like, oh, I can't let him see them. Like I'm rushing trying to get my orders. I would send some orders to work so he wouldn't know that I had stuff coming, because I was still in corporate America back then. It was horrible. I was so bad at first, getting more shoes, all of this craziness. But anyway, so you found Poshmark, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first step? So obviously, I guess initially you were selling your items. So talk us through that.
So I started just with the idea of, I had my handbags, and back then I liked these really small ones, which are super in right now, right? So I was trying to get rid of my really tiny, kind of just barely you can put your phone and gum in there. I had no use. So I didn't sell not one handbag. Instead, I started accumulating stuff. After a while, I'm like, I looked at two big closets. Let me tell you, S. Cannon. I'm sure you guys know who S. Cannon is.
Yes, I sure do. Yeah. And she's also another successful person on Poshmark. That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Super. And Miss Aisha 555. So I was constantly, admiring the closets and buying it. And, it just dawned on me one day. I'm thinking, hey, these gals can do it. Why can't I? Right. So that's where the idea stemmed from. I slowly started. I was really scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm not, into putting a lot of capital into something, and you don't know, because if you buy something, it sit. I'm not into. Back then, I was so scared to invest, so scared to kind of just dive into it. So I started small. You don't need a lot of capital if you just want to test out the waters. You can do jewelry, you can do accessories, which won't take up a lot of space. Also, that's the route I took.
Right.
And then once I started making sales, and you see the money coming in, you're like, well, maybe I should just branch out and add more categories. And that's where it began. It wasn't instant, I have a lot of folks come up to me and they're like, we're going to do it too. I said, yes. But it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not kidding. You have to build up to it. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. I mean, it could take even more than a year. It's like, if you have the resilience and, the perseverance to push through, and, because people tell me, I have this all the time, oh, I didn't make that many sales, or I didn't make one sales. I said, but you can't look at it day to day. You have to look at the bigger picture. You can do it monthly, whatever. Sales is like a roller coaster, just like everything else in life. You're going to go like this, there will be bad days, there will be good days. And you just have to push through and just roll with it.
I totally agree with you, Jen. You couldn't say that any better than what you said. And your store was definitely an evolution, because I remember it. Like I said, I got up there. I loved your boutique. And every time I turn around, you just kept getting better and better. And you also had did a YouTube, which I had checked that out, dealing with the Rollo printer. You was one of the first people that actually, I don't know if it's the Rollo printer or the other one, but it was the printer that, you know what I'm talking about. I think it was the Rollo printer, though. You can correct me on that. Which printer was it? Was it the Rollo or the other one?
It was a Zebra.
It was the Zebra. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Zebra.
I think I was the first one to talk about the thermal heated printer. That's the thing.
Yes, you were. You were the first one. And so I had saw that video. So it was really cool because you were real informative, and you were the first one that I saw talk about that. Yeah, you just really just constantly, changed your game. But I agree with you. I did the same thing. I started out doing, like, before, obviously I was doing my own stuff. That was like the goal of getting on Poshmark anyway. But then, like you said, I did jewelry because jewelry doesn't take much space. But then I started getting into some other stuff. And now I'm questioning, why did I do that? Because I have like a warehouse situation going on in my house. But but there it is. That's how it works. So many years later, I'm gonna say hello to a couple of people that came in. Hello, Janice. How are you doing? Better late than never. It's good to see you. Love you, Janice. And hello, Quimby. And I don't know if you know Quimby or not, Jennifer, but she's just a phenomenal individual. Her name is Quimby, and she actually has two YouTube channels. And people that are listening, if you're considering getting on YouTube, definitely check out both her YouTube channels. The Grateful Queen is the one where she deals with just reselling, but she is a therapist. You know, that's her business, and she also has the Grateful Therapist, and she's just so. I just love her YouTube videos. You have to check them out. She's really precise, and she even tells you the keywords to use for your items when you're reselling, because she does a lot of unboxing. So I just want to share that for people out there that could use that information. So anyway, thanks for coming in, Quimby. And please drop your YouTube down below, because a lot of you that have YouTube channels, I gave you a blueprint so you can actually drop down your YouTube channel in the comments so people can actually follow you. So please do that. So obviously you decided to get all into the boutique. You had all these beautiful items. And I know Sam was like going berserk because it's like, where is all this stuff going? So tell me, as you started growing, kind of like, you know, by leaps and bounds, kind of what happened at that point.
Okay, so when I met Sam, I was in a 1-bedroom. It was so small. I mean, he was trying to build some. I mean, you can only do so much to a like little mouse house. That's what I want to call it. It was literally, you walk in. I have no idea how we did it, but when we moved out, we moved from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, and we converted the 2nd bedroom to a warehouse, which was still overflowing. So did you guys ever see when Amanda came to interview me? Did you ever see that interview for Posh? Did you see it? Did you see how small? I literally grabbed everything from the living room and threw it into my bedroom so she couldn't see it. I literally threw everything in there. I have a PFF, Mary Kate. She's been to my place, and she said, they're going to come to your place and interview you? Where are you going to put all your stuff? I was so scared because it was a small 2-bedroom, a small one. I showed, Amanda my warehouse, which is also the kitty room, which is also the warehouse room. And I'm so glad, because of Posh, we refused to move again until we could buy a house. That's why we were holding out for. We were, holding out for that. And, by the graces of, hard work and everybody in the community and everybody who's purchased from me and everybody who's helped me get to where I am. I mean, I owe a large part to my PFFs and, just to this great community. But after that 2-bedroom apartment, Jax was only one. We bought this house, and a large part of it was, Posh money. Like, I'm grateful for that. And, my store is a work in progress, and, I'm always adding and trying to make it better. And it's just, I sell on other platforms, but Posh will always have my heart and soul, because they gave me my start.
Yeah, and you do so well on Poshmark, and I totally agree, because I feel the same way that you do. I feel the exact same way. They will always have our heart, because I feel like Poshmark really cares about people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they really do care about the people that are on their platform, and it's just like a family-like environment to me. That's how I feel about Poshmark. It's kind of like a family-like environment. So I totally understand why you're loyal to Poshmark, because that's how I feel as well. Hey, ATL Flipper, how are you doing? Feel free to drop your YouTube channel down there. But yeah, so I can, and you still have a lot of stuff even in your house right now, right? Because I know you were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, so I wanted to be truly authentic, okay? And I'm a hoarder by nature. With my, personal items, along with my, if I turn this around, I can't, it's my computer. You would be like, oh my gosh. I have a 1,600 square foot warehouse, okay? And then now it's coming to, this is my office. If I turn it this way, I mean, it would be full of stuff. And my garage, half side of my garage. Sam cannot even park his car there because I need that space. Yeah, so Terry, I know you know how that feels.
Yes. Sadly, I'm not proud of it. I do, and I'm working on that. So I think Ashley came into our lives for a reason, for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Because It's not a pretty thing. I tell people that all the time, and I tell some of my family members who's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stop by and visit." I said, "Nah, not right now." And I told them, I was like, "I really have a warehouse thing going on at my house right now. Just can't
Wait,
do it."
so do you have an offsite warehouse or your house is your warehouse?
My house is like my warehouse right now, Jen. It's driving me crazy. That's why I said I really did need Ashley in my life. Yeah, but it's funny. And then we're doing Amazon. So the cool thing about Amazon obviously is I can ship some stuff off to Amazon, thankfully, and get it out of the house. But
Do you do,
whew.
Terry, I have a quick question. Do you do fulfillment with them where you send your stuff and they ship it for you? Is
Yeah,
that?
sure do.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I sure do.
That's awesome.
Now, not everything, obviously, because it depends on what you're selling. So not everything can really be sent off to them. But yeah, when we can, we sure do, girl. That's a happy day to me. Pack it in that box, send it off, let them handle it.
Definitely.
I'm telling you. But yeah, I know you do Amazon as well. So are you doing the same thing? Or are you doing merchant fulfill mostly?
I do Amazon, and we kind of pulled back a little bit because I do clothing, and I wouldn't.
Right.
I don't. Do you do clothing?
No.
Returns.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember you telling me that you were doing clothing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing clothing, and there's just too many returns. I love Amazon, because they hold 35% of market share. If you're gonna sell that and Walmart, they're huge, right? With online
Yes, they
sales.
are.
They're trusted because they normally always back the buyer, regardless of whatever. The seller, the buyer can wear it, whatever damage, return it. Well, you have to take it, kind of thing. That's what my experience is. So we kind of backed off, and I'm trying to branch out. That's why we talked to Maylene. Maylene does like hard products. If you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about branching off to Amazon, as she suggested, you do not stay away from clothing. I wouldn't recommend it because the return rate is just too much high, and it's not worth the effort, I feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, what you're saying. Because when you were talking about the other day, I was saying to myself, I could, because me and my husband were talking about, I was like, no, I don't think I would want to do clothing. Because I totally can see that. Me and him had talked about possibly doing handbags. And I said on that, I wouldn't do luxury handbags either. Because, you just wouldn't want a whole bunch of, they would need to know that they're getting nice, trendy handbags, and they are what they are. I find most of the time people are happy with trendy handbags that aren't luxury, and then most of the time will not return those. So that would be the only thing that I would do if I were, but I haven't done that yet either. So no, I think that's great advice. So what else? So you are going to do private label because you've been talking to Maylene about that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's a good route.
Yeah, so if you come up with an idea, we have a friend. She can bring it to life for you. Her name is Maylene, and she's very open and helpful to give advice. So let's say you have a concept, whatever that concept is, you propose it to her. You tell her what you want to make, and she can literally bring it to life, produce it, manufacture it. She can hold it in her warehouse and ship it out for you. And then you basically give her a percentage of. Is that right, Terry? To my understanding, is that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
And Mayleen's so sweet too. She really is. I love
yes,
Maylene.
that's why I say your PFF is all about networking, and really this group of people, poshers and just resellers in general, they give out information so freely. I wish when I initially started, there wasn't this. I have to tell you, the community was much different. Maybe because it was still new.
Mm-hmm.
But I made a lot of mistakes. I did not read the guidelines. I had a lot of, like, oopsie. So I learned.
We all have, yeah.
Yeah. But if I had like this community that it is now, how it is now, and how helpful, like through Clubhouse, I feel like we've grown so much closer, Terry. Don't you feel that? Like Clubhouse has brought us, even though we can't see each other, we hear each other's voice. We're there for each other. It's really bonded us, and just everybody's just there and so generous with their information. There's nothing else like that.
Well, see, I feel like you've been doing that all along because you do so many posh and sips, and you were, of course, doing them when you could actually do them. Well, you know what I mean? When you can actually do them where people were there and you're sitting at the same table or whatever, back in the day before Corona decided to make her entrance and not leave. You remember that. But obviously you do a lot of those now as well, which is really awesome. You know what I mean? So And talk to us about that. What was your very first Posh and Sip like? And obviously, I know that was the one where it was like live around people. How was that for you?
It was awesome, and I did it at the OG spot that we love holding at. It was perched downtown LA in the rooftop, so
Hmm.
it's not too high. It's 13 stories. I have to tell you a story. I never met Cho. Cho was my co-host. We never
Okay.
met. We met through the app. She flew from Fresno to come do this meet with me. We had no backup from, partnerships were not a thing back then, so we had to promote it ourselves.
You
So
sure did.
yeah, so we went through the app. We invited people through, IG. I wasn't really using it that much, but we invited folks to come, and surprisingly, we had 25 guests, and it was one of the best ones. I have to tell you why, because from the people that I met there, I still am friends with them now. So this is now 8 years later, and we're close. Like, we're close friends. We talk and stuff. Cho, I'm still friends with Sarah. So many people. Tanya, I've met at live Passion Sips.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So when we can, and when we kick COVID in the butt, which we will, and when we can do
We
live,
need to.
I want
We
to
need to.
see everybody. I have hugs for everyone. For you, Terry, hug.
Yes, because it's been a while. Because I think the last time I did see you was at the was it 2018? Did you go to 2018 Posh Fest? I'm trying to remember.
Was that the one in LA?
No, yeah, I did go to the LA one. So I think I saw you there, but I don't know if we actually talked then. That was like my first one that I went to. But the one that I'm talking about was in Texas. Did you go to that one? The one in
Yes.
Dallas? Yeah, so I
Yes.
saw you there. I know I saw you there. Because that's how I actually connected with Tanya, was at that Posh Fest. So yeah, Posh Fest is just a great way to network. But like you said, now Clubhouse is actually allowing people to do that. That's because some people don't get to make it to these they don't get to make it to these events for lots of reasons, obviously. So, and a lot of these events are on the West Coast, and some people don't want to fly, what have you. So, yeah, so this is a time that people can actually connect. And then, like you said, the Posh and Sips have helped. And you have done a lot this year, because, like, when 2020 hit, you were doing a lot of Posh and Sips, which is awesome. So, you're really big on networking, which is what I love, and connecting with people and helping people. And that's one thing that everybody that knows you, can say about you. I'm gonna say hello really quick to some people.
Okay.
So Tasha, thank you for putting your YouTube out there. I appreciate you. Regina, definitely put your YouTube out there. You do have a rent, so put your YouTube out there as well. Regina's a really awesome individual also. So, and Tasha, thank you again for putting Tasha. Oh my gosh, she's like a master shopper. Her and this, her and one of my friends, Christy. When I say they're master shoppers, they will literally clean out a whole store, and they always catch the store when it's like 90% to 95%. Yeah, and they will literally wipe out the whole store. And yes, Regina, you do need to come on Clubhouse.
Yes.
Just be real intentional when you do. I mean, there's some people that just feels like they have to stay up there for hours, and I don't think that's the best use of your time. So be really intentional with it.
Right, Terry? Time is money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, be really intentional with your time when you're up there on Clubhouse. But yeah, definitely do. And also too, Regina, there are people from Android now that are up there. So it's a great way to network. And as long as you're intentional with the time on Clubhouse, you'll be fine. So just keep that in mind for people that are, considering getting on Clubhouse. Like I've talked to a lot of people to be like, oh, I don't know how you do it. I said, I get up there, I go in a room. I'm either doing a room or I may go in a room to support a friend. And then I leave and I pause my notifications. I said, I cannot be up there for hours. I just can't do it.
Yeah, no, if you see the amount of, I just leave it on, I never pay attention, but it's like, I'm like, oh, holy moly. It's a lot of notifications.
I used to do it. And what happened, the reason why I stopped is because like I share a lot with my phone. And so sometimes I'll be doing edit sharing. And when you're doing edit sharing really fast, like I do, you will hit that button. And the next thing you know, I'm in a room and someone's like, hey, Terry Lynn. And I'm like, so then I don't want to leave because it's like they saw me. So then I'm like in a room now. And I'm like, okay. So I said, no, I got to pause the notifications. I can't do that. But yeah, so that's why I do it. And then my husband's constantly complaining because he's on it too. And he's like, oh my gosh, I got in this room again. And they said, hey to me. I said, well, you better hang out now. I said, you better hang out there for 10 minutes now. I said, you don't be rude.
Once you get the hey, you're stuck. It's like you're a part of the audience. You're in.
That's right. You're in there. But anyway, so yeah, that's why I always pause notifications once I'm like done. If like I know I'm not going to do anything, I'm like pause notifications, call it a day. And that's what I recommend to everybody because, and you know, one of my friends even said it was giving them anxieties because they would see the pop all the time. I said, I can imagine. I said, I don't do that. I said, no, that has to go off. I can't do it at all. But so you obviously got this really huge, beautiful boutique, and everyone definitely check out her Poshmark boutique. It's Bellanblue. So just like she put up there on my name, Jennifer, it's Bellanblue. It's beautiful. But she also has a website, so bellanblue.com. So you'll see the similar items, but she just has such gorgeous items, just super beautiful. So check it out. Just amazing stuff on Poshmark. And like I said, she does wholesale as well. So what I know it's hard for you to imagine, but if money wasn't a factor and all of this good stuff, what would you do with your time if you didn't have to worry about money?
You know, Sam asked me that too, because sometimes we all felt it. I've been feeling lately for the past, oh gosh, I'm not gonna lie, since COVID hit, I've been struggling. I have both of my boys. They're 4 and 2.5, so they're at the age where they need me all the time. And I was losing my mind. I'm not kidding. So trying to work, do Posh and everything else and balance, keep the house in order, keep my kids fit and alive and not having a break. When COVID hits, my partner, Sam, he was very, strict about it. We did not see anyone for 6 months. I mean, legit, it was just us. I had no help. I had no break. I was at the brink of breaking down. So he eased up, things are more, we were cautious, but I tell him, I said, we have to live our lives. We just have to be safe about it. That's the thing. We just have to live our lives safely.
Right.
Yeah, because both my parents, along with his parents, they're older. Of course, they watch your kids. We're so mindful of that because we don't want to get them sick. But it's been a balance. And, there are times I tell Sam, truthfully, like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm burnt out. I feel like, all I do is work. I think you entrepreneurs understand this because you come to a point where it's like you hit a wall and you're just like so tired, so exhausted, and just so mentally drained. And that's where I kind of am now, just full transparency, where I'm just like, if I didn't have to package one more package, I would be fine. But at the end of the day, I love this and I need this, I'm doing this because of the community, because, it helps me live the life that I want. It helps for my kids. Like, I want my kids to have a life that I didn't have. I know it's not about money, but I want to give them opportunities that I didn't have. Like, I think about, I never finished college because I had to work and go to school and it was so hard. I have ADHD. I couldn't focus. Like, I'm like all over the map. My mind's like scattered. So I'm thinking, well, if my parents had helped me, pay for college, which they couldn't, and I totally understand. But if I can for my kids, it's okay.
Right.
I will work till I'm dead to provide this for them. So, but there are days that I just want to give up. I'm just over it. And I tell Sam, and he says to me, well, the way you are, that you cannot sit still. Terry, understand this. We're not sit still people. We're go, go, go. What would you do?
Right.
And I just looked at him blankly and I said, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know what I would do. At the end of the day, even though like I cry and I say this or this and that, this is what I feel that I'm made to do. Now, if you were to ask me if this is my plan for the rest of my life, I can't say, with certainty that this is what it is. But I am happy, to be where I'm at. And I love the community. You guys really help me out so much, through all my, dark days or the days that I'm struggling. I don't think I feel like resellers, Poshers, you guys are closer to me than my friends that I've known for, since I was young. So I'm thankful for that. And sorry, I just rambled again. This is Scatterbrain. I just rambled off again.
No, you're answering a question. And, I wanted to touch base on something that you said, because obviously this is Mental Health Awareness Month, but by us saying that, everybody want us to really be aware of mental health going forward, because for me, what I'm starting to notice, and obviously this really hit home in 2020, and I think this is possibly even happening to Jen. You can elaborate, obviously, Jennifer, but I feel the burnout is coming because we're so attached to our phones now, more so than ever. And don't get me wrong, as someone who has an e-commerce store, of course you utilize your phone as well as your computer. We know you do a combination of both, but we do a lot. If you're on Poshmark, you do a lot with your phone, because that's where all the sharing goes on. And I share a lot in the community too. So you're really attached. It's like this phone is like with you all the time. It's like right here. And
It'll be like, it's like this.
yeah, it's always, it's like a part of your appendage now, this phone. And it gets to the point where I literally work and try really hard to just get rid of my phone. Seriously, like after we do our engagement, and sometimes I have to wrap up on the engagement, and we're doing our packages and stuff. Seems like every time I turn around, it's like, oh, I've got to respond to this person. I've got to do something else on my phone. I've got to do this on the phone. And then, so what I'm doing now is literally scheduling time to be away from my phone, because it's become overwhelming to me. I almost feel like I'm back in corporate America, where when I was in corporate America, I was in management, and we had I'm serious, it was probably like hundreds of emails a day. I would have to answer. At least I made an attempt to answer, because I think some people really didn't. But I was one of those people, if you sent me an email, I had to respond. That was just me. And so I was one of the first people that actually put my email on my phone. Not everybody did that. They were because they were sitting at a computer, and I was like, I really don't want to be sitting at my computer all day long. So I actually put it on my phone, and an email would come in, and I'm answering the email, but it was and that really burnt me out doing that. And so now I think with 2020, it's almost, because we're on Instagram more, a lot of lives, a lot of, now Clubhouse has gotten into the mix. And so we're constantly on our phone, on our phone, on our phone. So I'm just working really hard now to try to lessen the time that I'm on the phone as much as I can. It's I got to schedule time where that phone is not in my hand. I have to do it, And so I was wondering, with what you were saying, do you feel like that possibly some of the burnout could have possibly happened because of just how 2020's kind of changed the game for some things? What's your thoughts on that?
For sure. I think 2020, was hard for a lot of people. I have a few girlfriends who but they're bipolar, so they have mental illness. So I can just imagine in my mind, I don't have, that mental illness, or if I am going insane, how they must feel, right? So
Right.
It's hard for a lot of people. 2020 was, let's just say it was a shit show. There was so much going on. We got hit with COVID, everything hit us. It was an eye-opening year. My takeaway from 2020 is, I'm going to look at it like this. It was awful, but because of 2020, I've realized who my true friends are. And all these people like Jerry, you, and Rocky, all these people I met and got closer to in 2020 is because of COVID. Is because then we realize what's more important to us. It's the connection. It's the people in our lives. It's people, right? Yes, we're all around that, but it's made me grow closer to you guys, and that's my takeaway from COVID. The good part of it. It was we're still fighting this battle, but I feel that it kind of 2020 was an eye opener, and I know who my friends are and who will be there for me through thick and thin, and as I am there for them. So that's what my takeaway is. The good cup half full from that.
I totally agree with you, Jen. She's definitely right about that, because I remember I needed something one time, and I reached out to Jen, and she was right on it, and then I have some really good friends that literally I connected to because of Instagram. So that's how I met them. And obviously we used to connect a lot through the actual Poshmark app, and I do still have some friends that I did connect that way. That was actually how we connected. and we still have that connection today. So it's amazing. Brittany, welcome. It's good to see you. Remember to put your YouTube down in the comments, Brittany, because Brittany has a great YouTube channel as well. So put your YouTube channel there. Everybody remember to put your YouTube channel, connect on that. But yeah, that's great. Quimby mentioned earlier. Okay, hold on. I clicked the wrong one. And maybe that was it. Anyway, I can't get back to the comment, but basically she was saying that her family, they put away their phones and they actually read like before they go to bed, which I think that's great. But yeah, I agree. The phone should not have a place at the dinner table. I totally agree with that.
Gary,
I totally agree.
That reminds me of is PFF Jordan. Remember what he said? He says,
yes.
Okay, so this is his tip. He says when they ever go out for whatever's dinner, lunch, or whenever there's a gathering, they go out to a restaurant. So the first person that reaches for their phone has to pay the bill. It always works. No one reaches for the phone. So I'm like, that's a great thing to do. Like if someone would tell me that, I'd be like, I guess bye-bye phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that concept because I'm definitely the type of person that if I'm going out to dinner or to lunch, I could totally leave my phone and just talk to people. But I know some people the whole time they're like this while you're at lunch. Yeah, girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're really like that the whole time, And so they've grown so attached to it. But yeah, but like I said, for me, 2020, I think that's one thing we need to kind of schedule some time away from that phone. I think we will realize that we will feel a lot better because, and like you were saying earlier about some people that, they have mental issues, and there are some people saying, yes, they have anxiety because their phone is constantly going off, because some people don't turn their notifications off, even though they should. And it's like all these notifications coming in. I'm like, yeah, definitely, Janice, reading a book is good. I say totally. And that's why I've gotten back into books, by the way, to make a long story short. Now, I still do Audible. And the main reason I do Audible is for like when I'm walking, so I can listen to the book. But I have gotten to the point that I do actually like the book in my hand because I'm like, therefore, I don't have to have my phone. It's like I have an actual book, no phone. So, that I just feel like that's, something we should all strive for at some point in time. Definitely is to take some time away from that phone. So you have wholesale. What made you think to get into the wholesale market, by the way?
That was just...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was just by accident. I had my business partner before for the portal was Sarah, who's my PFF. I met on my first Posh and Sip I threw. And we just, I guess, saw so much potential in it. When it first started, which is, I forget, like 4 years ago. That's when I was still pregnant with Jack. So I'm going to assume that was that. And the wholesale part of, inside Poshmark is great, is for people who don't want to dive into it. Like I said, they want to test out the waters to see if it's even worth, getting that seller's permit, worth, taking the time to source, building these relationships with these vendors. So it's like a testing ground. Most of the people that buy from there, eventually they're like, either we're going to move forward or it's not for me. So we're kind of just the stepping stone for them, just to test it out, I would say.
Yeah, but I think you're doing good because you've been doing Aluna Levi now for it's been over a year for sure, right? If I'm not mistaken.
4 years.
Oh gosh, I didn't even realize it was 4 years. My gosh, time is really flying on me.
Yes. I'm horrible with timing. It's just I was pregnant with Jax. That's what I remember. And Jax is now 4.5.
Well, you're doing good then. And the other thing, I know some people aren't really excited about the portal. But here's how I feel like you can utilize the portal. There's so many things where Poshmark actually gives you credits. And if nothing else, utilize the credit to go to the portal and resell some stuff. That's, if nothing else, I say that's always good. Should you utilize the portal to do all of your, to totally stock up your boutique? No. But it's a great way to actually, utilize it when you're getting all these free credits because Poshmark's always giving free credits. I mean, constantly. So, That's what I really love about it. So that's just my thoughts on that. Well, good deal, because you've been doing that for 4 years and you're doing really well. And you've been staying consistent too. Because I know some people kind of, came and went, when it came to the wholesale portal. So good deal
That's
on that.
my message to everyone. No matter what it is, there's going to be slow times, like busy times. Right now for the portal, it's slow. And I understand. Right now, people are trying to survive. They're trying to, have money to buy food, put food on the table. They're not, thinking about putting in their money, investing, because it's an investment, investing their money like 2 packs or clothing and stuff. Just push through and you just hang on. Right now is it spring or summer? Terry, help me. Is it spring or summer?
It's spring. It's spring. It feels like summer sometime, but yeah, it's spring. But go ahead.
So summer's gonna pick up. I always tell people who are like, "Oh my God, it's so slow," sales. And I said, again, you can't do it, base it by day. You're gonna have to do it the bigger picture, and it will pick up. Summertime's coming. We are getting a hold of COVID. They're kind of letting us open back up. People are gonna need clothes. They're gonna look at me. I am in a casual whatever, but people are gonna need shoes. They're gonna need stuff. They're gonna want to go out. So it will pick back up. So just keep pushing and yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It definitely is going to pick up. That is for certain. So I totally agree with that outlook. And somebody said what are they saying? Buy my Poshmark brand tape. However, I think they should give it.
They should, Janice. They should give it to us.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice, right, Janice? I totally agree. That would be nice for sure. Well, so so what's your favorite movie that you've ever watched?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to say it's a After All. It's this love movie. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. It's with Robert Downey Jr. I love rom-coms. I just love all rom-coms, even though they're cheesy and they always get panned by the critics, but I love rom-coms, and this one's about love. So and I'm always, I guess, Sam always teases me. He's like, real life is not like real life love is not like movie love. And I just love that movie so much. If you guys haven't watched it, it's an older movie, but I feel like it's a classic rom-com. So After All, that's my favorite movie.
Okay, After All. All right. So I'm gonna have to check that out, because I know you said you were into romantic comedy, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. So, and then you like action films too. So what's your favorite action film?
Oh my gosh, I'm like a dude. I love X-Men, all those. Okay, I'm so bad. All those violent popcorn flick movies that have no whatever. I love it. I love them all. I just watched. Okay, do not watch this one. I was so excited about it because I just like the Mortal Kombat. I didn't make it through. It wasn't.
I
it. Like, action flicks. Transformers. I loved all the Transformers, all the Indiana Jones, all those kind of movies. I love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, Mortal Kombat was okay, but yeah, I love action flips as well. Like, so my favorite is stuff like John Wick. All the John Wicks.
Yes.
I absolutely love all the John Wicks. And one movie that came out recently that probably nobody saw because, well, some people may have seen it, but the actor in it is not like one of these like popular actors, but it's from the same guy that created John Wick, and he's called Mr. Nobody, or I'm a Nobody, something like that. That movie is awesome too. So like,
who's
if you
the
like
star in that one? I gotta look it up.
Yeah, you gotta look it up, because he's not one of those like people that you're like, oh yeah, I know him. He's not one of those type people. But once you see him, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen him in other stuff. It's kind of like that. But he did really good, and the movie is really good actually. So I enjoyed it. It's funny, but it's not as good as John Wick's, but it's in that same line. I love all the John Wicks though, and I can't wait for the next one to come out, because I think he is actually working on another one, by the way. So I should throw that out there, guys. I love John Wicks. I love them all.
It's hard to compete against that though, because he's like, it's like here, so it's like.
Keanu Reeves, I just love him. Yeah, I mean, ever since The Matrix, what can I say? He had me at The Matrix, the very first one. Yeah, after that, I was like, forget it, And then I think he did Speed. He did Speed after The Matrix, right? I'm trying to remember. Whatever.
Before, right?
He might have did it before. Yeah, you might be right. I don't forget. It's been such a long time now, but yeah, love all that good stuff. So the other thing I want to mention is, you are hilarious on TikTok. Everybody says it. I actually feel like you have a calling to be like an actress, but tell us about that. Have you ever thought about doing that? Just wondering.
TikToks, including IG, but TikTok's really, that's my break. Like the only time I love my kids, but like between working and trying to manage the house and my kids, like the only time I have is, my breaks is occasionally I go have lunch with, my girlfriend, but like if you have 5-10 minutes and you just need that break, TikTok is my break. I don't allow myself. It's a time step. Like Terry said, if you go in there, you're going to be like, you look at the phone in the morning and you're like, oh shoot, it's evening already. It's just like Clubhouse. You can get sucked in, and I refuse. So I allow myself like 5-10 minutes. I go in there, I pretend I'm like a Oscar winner. I go in and do my funny and I leave. And that, I post and I go. But it's really brought me a lot of joy. For me, like I work through my, my personal issues, or everybody has a different way to deal with stuff. So me is like, I love making these funnies, and I post it, and if someone tells me it's made them laugh, it makes me feel good, and that's why I do them.
Yeah, you're hilarious, and yeah, so it's kind of like you're so funny. So I would actually get in there and I would like watch it, and then I ended up watching a lot of others. But I have a friend. I'm not gonna say her name. I'll let her tell this story, but she really has me dying every time she talks about TikTok, and she's gonna know I'm talking about her because she's actually here in the audience. But she was literally watching TikTok so much because she watches TikTok at night. She was watching it so much that a guy comes up and says, "It is time for you to get some water and walk around," or something like that. There's a message. And I just thought it was so funny. I was like, "Oh my God!" I said, "That is so hilarious." But she watches it to because it's funny, it's amusing to her. Which I appreciate that, definitely. But yeah, it's like I used to use TikTok for videos, and now I totally like hardly ever on TikTok unless I'm trying to make a quick video, and then I make sure I'm up there really quick and I like hurriedly get off because I tell you, everybody is so funny up there. And okay, so Rhonda admits it's her.
Oh, I'm looking through the names like, who is the one that's stuck on TikTok?
Speaking of Rhonda, she is going to have a show, which I'm fortunate to be on with her. It's Hump Day Happy Hour. It will be tomorrow, guys, at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I did do that right, Rhonda? So it's 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's 4:30 Central Standard Time. So that'll be tomorrow. Hump Day Happy Hour, and then of course me and her are going to be on Clubhouse for Lover List, and Learn. So there we go. But yeah. So she told me that, and it was so funny. I just died laughing because I got this much picture. I said, "Wow, she was really up there then." She's probably looking at you, Jen. Probably looking at you. No, I don't know, but I'm just saying, Jen is really funny. Yeah, I love you and your wine bottles. And then when you do the, I guess you picked a selection for the British accents. Those are so funny. Oh my God, you're just hilarious. And then your last one that I remember, this is probably not your last one, but you did one where you're like kicking your family.
Oh yeah.
And one of your little boys is like, he's all at the door like. Because I don't know if he understands. I say it to myself. I say, he probably doesn't understand what's going on here.
He's like, "Mommy, why are you kicking me out?" That was for Mother's Day, and I did it. I filmed it for Mother's Day. And it was like the caption read, "The doctor said to let your stress out." So I walked my partner with my 2 kids out, locked that door, went back and watched TV.
Yeah, it hurt son because I don't think I suddenly what was going on. He was like in the screen door. I was like, that part was funny to me.
Robin, I think Robin said she thinks she's too old for TikTok. No, you're not. No,
definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, and I know Quimby says she's never been on TikTok, and I can see that. Yeah, I can see that too. I totally understand. I try not to be up there too much. And I'm fortunate now because Jen can do her stuff on Instagram. So that's how I catch Jen's stuff now because she puts it on Instagram. So if you follow her on Instagram, and I put it in a link below, definitely catch her reels because she is very funny. And also tell them about the Pasha Sip that you have coming up because it's going to be so fun. Tell them about that.
Guys. Okay. But before I do that, I want to do a plug. Terry is going to be joining us this Friday, I have a Posh and Wine, the Posh and Wine crew. It's every Friday, and we have speakers come in. But Terry is going to be coming in. I'm super excited about that, talking and sharing about herself, along with Joseph, our friend that we met through our engagement group. But the focus will be about mental health awareness, just burnout and self-care. So hope you guys can join us. It's this Friday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then for this Saturday, the 15th, from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're having, everybody's invited. It's the 80s theme party. So come dress in your 80s outfit. We're going to have a live runway, which Terry's going to strut it. We're going to strut it down the runway.
I can find something to wear, but yeah, I will.
A lot of fun games. And this one, we promise, it is going to be so unique. It's not going to be like any Posh and Sip that you've ever attended. I can tell you that. So it's going to be, we have a lot of, activities and stuff planned for you. So you will be thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. I will be thoroughly entertained. So please join us. It's so this is Friday for the Posh and Wine, and then Saturday for the Posh and Sip, which is 80s theme.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna do something really crazy with my hair. So I'm really made just look crazy.
I can't wait.
Maybe you know how every now and then you'll see those runway shows where it's that model, and you're like, how did she make it on the runway? That'll be me. I will be that model. They'll be like, I don't know why they put her up there. that would be me. Oh shoot, Robin. That's all. That's shoot, girl. I'm 52, which I realize is not young, but still not old.
You're young.
Look, some people may disagree with that statement that I just made, but hey, I'm just throwing that out there. Well, look, I want to thank you so much for coming because, like I said, y'all finally met my actual Poshmark crush, and this woman, like I said, is crushing it. So definitely follow her on Poshmark. Check out her website because she has Bellanblue website. Oh, and also you're gonna start doing Instagram story sales too, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and get out of my comfort zone. I'm naturally very awkward and not really comfortable. So I'm gonna start trying to model. I have my PFF. She's gonna start helping me take pictures, modeling this stuff. I just feel like sometimes people respond better to video. So I'm gonna try and do that starting, I don't know when we can have time to do that, but it's coming soon.
Well, you did really good on that clip you did where you were modeling. It was a maxi dress. I really liked that whole vibe that you had. So if you could kind of stick with that because it's you, and it was really good. You did really great, and whoever did the angle of the camera actually did good too because I like the way they kind of panned it and everything. I don't know who did that, but they did good. So yeah, definitely. Oh, and real quick, we're doing karaoke, so it'll be Rhonda. I don't know if Tiana's still up here. I don't know if Tiana, she might have left. But it's going to be quite a few women that are up here. I know Brittany, Jules, if she's still up here. Rhonda, gosh, I don't remember all the people. Penny, I don't think Penny's here. But anyway, we're actually doing karaoke on Friday, so you need to check it out if you can. It's going to be on the Swag Slayer Fashions YouTube. We'll be sending out some advertisements on that.
Oh,
but that's actually going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be 5 p.m. for you.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be nuts. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Yeah, yeah, I know, Brittany. Definitely, it's gonna be so fun. So it's we're gonna be obviously it's gonna be the first time we've done it. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, but we'll see. And then everybody remember Hump Day Happy Hour tomorrow will be on Rhonda's YouTube, the Pink Diva Studio. Okay. Oh yeah, one last question, Jennifer. So what is advice you would give someone wanting to start out in the e-commerce industry?
I would say this is the same thought that I have with me. Make sure you have capital ready because a lot of people think they can come in and it does require capital if you're serious about it. If you want to start small, like I said, with jewelry and accessories, you can. But if you're thinking about like long term and like building it, make sure you have capital set aside for this, like backup money. Make sure that you have patience. And don't give up. Just keep going. And it's going to be hard in the beginning. It wasn't easy for me either. But just keep pushing and just don't get discouraged. That's my main thing. Don't get discouraged and just. It'll come if you just be patient and of course work for it and not like it's gonna come, but if you hustle hard, it'll come.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. And you're definitely prime example of that. So I appreciate you for your time and your little ones. You must have really had some really great assignments for them. Because I was like looking forward to seeing the cute little faces come in. You know, I was totally gonna be fine with it. Especially because I'm still thinking about the little one that was up on the screen, like, Mom, what are we doing? So why she kicked me out? But anyway, so I want you to have a wonderful night. And I just want you to know I love you. And so you take care. You have a wonderful night with your family. And I really appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. And thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate everyone. Thank you. Bye.